She almost lost her husband because of her condition. What really happened? Let's find out together, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're bringing you another emotional banger that's going to keep you glued to your screen. But before we dive in, I know you'll want something to sip or munch on, so go grab your snacks and get comfy. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more amazing movie recaps like this. Let's get into it. The movie kicks off with a beautiful young woman named Kamsi out for her morning workout. One of the estate security guards joins her and compliments her energy. Back home, she meets her handsome husband, Jerry, who's enjoying a heavy breakfast. She tries to take some, playfully, but he refuses to share. Later that night, the couple is seen chatting happily in their bedroom, showing off their strong bond. The next morning, Kamsi wakes Jerry up, reminding him that he promised to join her for a jog, but he's still half asleep and decides to stay in bed. He later apologizes once she leaves. While jogging, tragedy strikes. A speeding car hits Kamsi and drives off without stopping. People gather around her in panic. One of the estate guards quickly calls Jerry, who is shocked and rushes to the hospital in a panic. At the hospital, the doctor delivers the devastating news. Kamsi is in a coma. Jerry and her family go in to see her, heartbroken. Determined to find justice, Jerry vows to make sure whoever did this to his wife pays for it. The next day, Jerry is resting beside her hospital bed when he notices her blink. He calls for the doctor immediately. A few minutes later, the doctor tells Jerry that Kamsi is finally out of the coma, but there's a catch. Her condition is now serious, she can't walk, and she may never be the same again. Jerry takes Kamsi home in a wheelchair. As they try to take her to the guest room, Kamsi insists on being taken to their matrimonial bedroom instead. Despite the challenges, Jerry respects her wish. That night, Jerry helps her into bed and gives her words of encouragement. The next morning, Jerry prepares breakfast and tries to feed Kamsi. She refuses at first, but he gently persuades her to eat. The following day, Jerry comes downstairs, hoping to take her on a walk, but she refuses again. He goes out alone to run some errands. When he returns, he's met with an awful smell. He asks what happened, and Kamsi breaks down. She tried to use the restroom, but couldn't make it. Jerry, heartbroken, moves closer and comforts her lovingly. Later, her auntie visits to support and console her, bringing a bit of emotional relief. That night, Jerry tries to cuddle her in bed, but Kamsi pushes him away, telling him to move. Jerry is visibly hurt, but respects her space. The next day, Jerry meets with a close friend and vents about the pain he's going through. His friend advises him not to give up on Kamsi. They also talk about Jerry going back to work soon. Later that day, Jerry tries to cheer Kamsi up by applying makeup on her and complimenting her beauty. Sadly, things don't go as he planned. She doesn't respond the way he hoped, and he ends up feeling disappointed. At dinner, Jerry gently tells Kamsi they'll need to hire a maid now that he's returning to work so she can have more help around the house. And that's just the beginning, guys. Will their love survive this tough test? Will Kamsi find hope and healing again? You'll have to stay tuned for the full recap. Days later, Jerry heard a knock at the door. When he opened it, he was surprised to see a familiar face, a woman he recognized standing with her suitcase. After exchanging greetings, he welcomed her inside and introduced her to Kamsi as their new maid. The next morning, Sade, the new caregiver, came downstairs while Jerry was already having breakfast. They chatted briefly before he left for work. At the office, Jerry was unusually cheerful. He shared with his friend that his new caregiver was actually his secondary school girlfriend. He was so happy he even acted out of character, doing things he normally wouldn't. His friend was left speechless by his sudden excitement. Back at home, Sade was seen massaging Kamsi's legs, trying to give her hope of walking again. But sadly, Kamsi had already lost all faith in her recovery. Not long after, Jerry returned home. Sade welcomed him and asked what had actually happened to Kamsi. Jerry didn't hesitate. He sat down and opened up to her, explaining everything. That same night, Jerry and Kamsi were seen having a heart-to-heart conversation in their bedroom. The next morning, Jerry was getting ready to leave for work when Sade came downstairs and greeted him in a special way, just like she used to back in their school days. They laughed and chatted like old friends. As Jerry was about to leave without breakfast, Sade insisted and made sure he ate something first. Later that evening, Sade sat in her room sipping water, lost in thought. The next day, Jerry asked Sade to help him plan a surprise for Kamsi. It was their wedding anniversary. After giving her the details, he left for work. The following morning, Jerry and Sade were in the kitchen together, preparing the surprise while chatting and sharing laughs. That night, Sade brought Kamsi to the living room, which had been beautifully decorated with balloons and ribbons. But things didn't go as planned. Tension rose between the couple, and Sade quietly excused herself as they argued. Jerry sat on the floor afterward, devastated by how everything turned out. Sade came to comfort him, and in a moment of weakness, they kissed. Shocked by what just happened, Sade quickly ran upstairs. The next day, Kamsi's sister visited and gave her a strong warning, not to keep pushing her husband away, or she might lose him to another woman. Meanwhile, Sade was massaging Kamsi's foot and listening quietly. After her sister left, she insisted Kamsi apologize to her husband. Shortly after, Jerry arrived. Kamsi welcomed him and sincerely apologized. But Jerry, visibly distracted, accidentally called her Said. Kamsi noticed and asked if he just said Sade's name, but he denied it and quickly excused himself, pretending he needed to use the restroom. That night, Sade was in the kitchen drinking water, dressed in a revealing gown. Jerry came in as well to get some water. They exchanged glances, but Jerry soon walked away. The next morning, got ready for work while Sade served breakfast. Back at the office, Jerry kept biting his lip, lost in a flashback of the kiss he shared with Sade. He was so deep in thought, he didn't hear his friend calling him. When he finally snapped out of it, his friend invited him for lunch, but Jerry declined, saying he already had breakfast. They chatted briefly after that. Later that day, Jerry returned home and tried to help Kamsi tie her scarf, but struggled. She told him to call Saad. When Jerry went to her room, he found her just coming out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel. He quickly delivered the message and left. Sade then went to Kamsi and helped her tie the scarf properly. After that, Kamsi began asking her some personal questions. 2 days later, Jerry was heading out for work when Sade ran after him, asking if he could take her to the pharmacy to buy medication for Kamsi. On their way there, Sade brought up old memories from their secondary school days. They both laughed and reminisced until they reached the pharmacy. That night, Jerry was already asleep when he suddenly began coughing nonstop. He got up and went to the kitchen to drink some water. Sade walked in and confronted him, demanding to know why he had been avoiding her. Meanwhile, back in the bedroom, Kamsi kept calling out to Jerry and Sade to help her get to the restroom. But something unexpected happened. She discovered she could now move her body. Overwhelmed with excitement, she tried calling them again, but neither of them was paying attention. Then, shockingly, she saw them kissing, completely unaware that she was watching. Kamsi quietly returned to bed and pretended to be asleep, while Jerry suddenly pulled away and rejected Sade. The next day at the office, Jerry opened up to his friend about everything that had been going on with Sade. His friend was stunned and advised him to send her packing immediately. Back at home, Sade was still trying to seduce Jerry, but this time he firmly told her to gather her things and leave the house. She was shocked until Kamsi also told her to leave immediately. Sade quickly ran upstairs. Meanwhile, Kamsi told Jerry how she had started to regain movement in her body. Upstairs, as Sade was packing her belongings, she realized she couldn't bear to lose both her job and the man she claimed to love. In a final act of desperation, she stormed back downstairs and told Jerry she wasn't going anywhere. A heated argument broke out between the three of them. After that, Kamsi locked herself in the bedroom while Jerry pleaded with her to open the door. Not long after, Kamsi's sister arrived and gently advised her to forgive her husband. 2 days later, Kamsi was seen in the kitchen trying to make dinner. Jerry offered to help and used the moment to sincerely apologize. That night, Jerry and Kamsi were back in bed, talking, cuddling, and reconnecting emotionally. The next morning, Jerry received news that the person who had knocked down Kamsi had finally been caught. The lawyer said they needed Kamsi's permission to press charges and have the young man jailed. But instead of seeking revenge, Kamsi forgave him and asked them to let it go, saying the past was behind her now. The following evening, Jerry took Campsy out for a walk so she could enjoy the fresh air. They talked and laughed, truly enjoying each other's company. Months later, the couple was seen getting ready to travel abroad. They were filled with excitement and happiness, ready to begin a new chapter together, stronger, united, and full of love. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this heartwarming story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating movie recaps right here. See you in the next one. Bye.